Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. Today is March 6th, 2023. We are now 24 days from opening day.
You actually said the right day this time. The day we're
Well, I
actually
knew that you were
recording
going to spoil it if I said tomorrow's date, and you would ruin the whole show and the whole fugazi that we have going on here. So I just figured we might as well just roll with it.
I don't like being fake. Also, I think with the topic we're talking about today, it is notable that we're talking about it on the day where Jack Flaherty pitched for the first time.
Jack is officially back.
Well, let's not overreact, but it was
What's
really
what we do here. We overreact.
No.
McAfee has overreaction Monday. Here we go.
No, we're not overreacting to a spring training start. But here's my big thing. I guess let's just get right into it. Do you have anything you want to say before we get into Jack?
No,
let's
go.
Let's just get into it then. The thing that was most important to me, he had a couple setbacks that, of course, people overreacted to. And, I can't necessarily blame anyone because if anything, when Jack has a setback, so to speak, the reaction being concerned is warranted. That at this point in time in Jack Flaherty's career and the way the last 2 years have gone, and even the 2020 season at times, I understand why people overreact to things like that. So I'm not even going to blame people for it. But he got held back. They said cramps because he was dehydrated, is what they think. So obviously that's not an injury. That's just something that happens. And then yesterday he was supposed to throw. He was slated to start. He had flu-like symptoms. So who knows? He might have just had a cold. I don't know. And he wanted to pitch, and Ollie was basically like, no. In June or July when you're pitching, do you think either of us are going to look back and say, damn, I wish he would have thrown on March 5th instead of March 6th?
Right.
No. So we're waiting one more day. We need to be ready to go. And had a rocky first inning, but he looked really good his other 2 innings, I thought, today.
Yeah, and also right on cue, as soon as the news came back out that Jack was going to be pushed back one day, Twitter lost its absolute mind.
Yeah, I get it though. I get
I know,
why.
but come on. I mean, I do too, but like you said, we're not going to overreact.
Be honest, but if you want to be honest, Cardinals have earned that. They've earned the fact that when they come out and say nothing big, and it leads to people believing, well, they're probably lying. Because let's be honest, last year, Jack Flaherty, nothing big. He was out most of the year. Alex Reyes, we don't know. It doesn't seem that major yet. Out for the entire year. And he's never going to play for the Cardinals again, probably. Like Miles Michaelis 2 years ago, nothing that big, ended up having to get surgery, was out for a long time. So if anything, the Cardinals have earned us not to trust him with spring training injury updates.
I get it, but we also know that you can get into it, and you touched on a small part of it. Jack Flaherty is a hot button issue in St. Louis. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. We know why for a lot of people. We know why. Because he's outspoken. He wears a Kobe jersey. He wears a Black Lives Matter t-shirt. He writes it behind the mound. We know that for a lot of people that pisses them off. Mm-hmm. And they, the shut up and dribble community is loud. So when you get pushed back, that just adds fuel to that fodder. Yeah. And that's just what we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm. I do feel the overwhelming majority this year, more so than has been very positive about Jack. I think his comments about Wainwright, I think he's kind of smiling. He just seemed like he's in a better place personally because he's not coming into the season injured. So that has a lot to do with it. I think his demeanor, I think it's gone a long way with some of the fan base to be like, okay, I'm jumping back on board. There is a portion of the fan base. I tend to believe it's smaller than what you would think if you went on social media. You don't see him get booed at Busch Stadium.
100%
at Busch Stadium,
agree.
I've seen Jack start, 5 to 10 times probably. I've never heard anyone talking shit on him in the stands. So I do think it's a smaller group. That group's just really loud. And I almost hate giving them any kind of attention because they don't deserve it. They're idiots. Just so we could be clear on this video, if you're going to the comment section because you saw Jack Flaherty on the title and in the thumbnail to say something about how he gets injured, or about how he needs to shut up speaking about politics and focus on pitching. One, we know he gets injured. We're aware. We've seen it. Two,
everyone knows.
I could not care less about your opinions of Jack Flaherty's opinions. So please just save it because I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I brought it up, because I agree with you. I'm not going to spend time on it, but we do know that is out there with Jack, and it sucks. The other thing, let me ask you this. It really does suck. Let me ask you this. The other thing with Jack, and I don't get it. I just don't understand people, a lot of people. Where do you think the what is the word I'm looking for? Oh, geez. Where do you think the idea that he wants to be in LA instead of here comes from?
I think
Like
the
the
word
man
you're
has
looking
never said,
for.
like, you cannot find that anywhere that he has ever said,
Well,
I want to be in LA over St. Louis.
that's it's pretty simple. I think why that is, and I think the word you're looking for was theory because that's what it is.
That
It's
that's
not rooted.
bingo. Thank you.
It's not rooted in reality at all. If anything, I mean, the dude was incredibly close with Bob Gibson. He's incredibly close with Adam Wainwright. He loved Yada. He loved Albert. He's really close with Nolan Arenado, it seems. So
Correct. They
there's
are
no
very
basis in
tight.
reality in this at all. The reason is he's from LA. St. Louis is a small city, so it kind of comes with that, inferiority complex, I think, where you see all these guys from LA. Like people thought Nolan wanted to go to LA, right? Like that just happened. Nolan has like in his glove, he has like a California state flag. He loves LA. Doesn't mean he wants to go play baseball in LA. Like that's not how this works. But I think it's that. It's also the fact that he has liberal views, which a lot of people in Missouri do not have, and a lot of people in California do have. And he's outspoken about those views. So I think those are the things. That's why. And you associate some people associate those kinds of views with West Coast, and they think that's where people want to be, when in reality that's not how it is.
Do you think other cities, maybe somebody out there from another city can answer this? Do this as well? Like we dealt with it with no one's from LA, he wants to go back to LA. Jack's from LA, he hates it here in St. Louis, he wants to go back to LA. So and so, fill in the blank. Anyone from St. Louis needs to be a Cardinal. It was Mark Burley for a long time.
It's still Max Scherzer.
Max Scherzer, yes. Do you think other cities I guess we do have a contingent who listens from Cleveland or who are Cleveland fans. Do you think Cleveland is like so and so is from Cleveland, they need to be coming in or a Guardian? Almost got it. Or this guy who plays for us is from Seattle, so we know he wants to be in. Or do you think are we just? I don't know the word again. I'm looking.
It's everywhere because it's national. Like what was
the
talk around?
That hasn't been a thing for
What's
years.
Been the talk around Clayton Kershaw, who plays in LA for the last 5 years?
That he's from.
Where's
Texas.
he going? Where's he going? The Rangers.
Right.
It's just how it is. And to be honest with you, there is some validity. Some people would want to go home. I'm being honest. If I was a Major League Baseball player, there's probably a strong chance that I would want to play for the Cardinals at some point.
Right.
Because that'd be a dream. It's some people's dream. That does not mean that's who Jack Flaherty is. That doesn't mean that's who Nolan. It definitely wasn't who Nolan Arenado was, because we know that now. He's proven that multiple times. So I don't know. I think a lot of it is honestly that people think a lot of athletes aren't from St. Louis. Let's be honest. Like there are a lot of great athletes from St. Louis, but most of the athletes are from coast. It's just the way it is, or from Florida. So people just believe that that's where they want to be.
Shot at Texas,
it's just not how it is.
It is what I think St. Louis has, and I'm obviously born and raised in a suburb of St. Louis, diehard, lifelong Cardinal fan, but I still do believe that St. Louis has an inferiority complex quite often, where they think that people from the West Coast or the East Coast they kind of view them as outsiders, and when they come in here, no one really wants to trust that they really want to be here. It's no shot at anybody or any culture or anything else. I just feel like that is, I probably do believe there are other cities who are like that. I just have not lived in Cleveland or Detroit or Minnesota, Minneapolis or, fill in the blank.
We're also not in those cities, so we just don't know.
Right.
But at the same time,
I feel like that's part of it with St.
I
Louis.
feel like a lot of it as well, though. Like a lot of it's earned from other areas where, let's be honest, you watch MLB Network, how many times, even when the Cardinals are good, are they popping up?
No,
how many times at the same time, how many times are going to talk about Steve Cohen? How many going to talk about, Walker Buehler when he was great, or Mookie Betts? Right. And it's fair because that's where a large portion of their audience is from. So I get it. It makes sense. But when it comes to Jack Flaherty, he might leave. He might go to LA. I don't know. I can't predict it. I don't know what he wants, but I'm definitely not going to assume one way or the other. All I know is he's come out. I guess this is a good place to kind of kick it off. I think let's start with the beginning of this offseason for Jack. We know the history. Great in 2019, went on a historic run. Like he was the attraction in 2019, right? It was Jack Flaherty Day. Like every 5 days, that if it was in Busch Stadium, that place was packed to watch what he was going to do. He was an attraction for those, say, 3 months where he was just absolutely fantastic. Finished top 5 in the Cy Young voting. It was great. 2020, weird year. He was throwing a mattress in his hotel room. Didn't know when he was going to throw. When he was going to start. That year's kind of a waste, but he ended it was fantastic in the postseason. We didn't hit, like that's the story of our postseasons, but he was fantastic in Game 3 against the Padres. Fast forward to 2021, on pace to maybe even start the All-Star game, right? Like he was
leading the league in
pitching
wins.
that well. He led the league in wins like a month after he was hurt. That's how good he was. Homered off Austin Gomber too. That was cool on my birthday. But then he gets hurt, and really since then it's been an up and down roller coaster with Jack Flaherty. But we look at that 2.5 year span. He leads the Cardinals in the history of the Cardinals in strikeouts per 9 for a starting pitcher. In the history, he's number 1. And number 1.
By the way, did not know that.
Yes. I mean, obviously we can talk about the amount of innings he's thrown. And yes, he's thrown way more innings than Bob Gibson did. But just for this point in his career.
Less innings.
Yes. Yeah. Bob Gibson, obviously, like he pitched when he was older here. Like we know this. Also hits per 9, very, very high up on the rankings of that. He was on pace to be one of the next guy, like the guy to succeed Adam Wainwright. We all thought it was going to be Michael Wacha. We know that wasn't what happened. He was on pace to be that guy. I still think he can be that guy. And I think this offseason, I know I'm getting long-winded, but I kind of just want to get back on it now. I'm trying to get to the point I wanted to get to. This offseason, he started it by crying because he was upset that obviously he wasn't with Yadier Molina in his last year, and he doesn't want to do that again for Adam Wainwright, who's one of his best friends. He said like was with him all night when Tyler Skaggs died, one of his best friends, like a guy that he loves very much. And I thought that was a great way to start this season and send him in a positive direction.
Yeah, it's funny we say this, but this is another St. Louis Cardinal #1 draft pick. By the way, shout out to Carlos Beltran. Thank you. When he left and went to the Yankees, we got a compensatory pick for that. We used it for Jack Flaherty. So thanks, Carlos. Good job here. And then when you left, thank you again. Nice. Another first-round pick, Gatorade High School Player of the Year in California. Out of California. I mean, for those of you who don't know, the Gatorade Player of the Year, a lot like the McDonald's All-Americans. Like that is the Gatorade is what is. I assume it still is. It was forever. The place to be. His career, what was he? 23-0 his last 2 years or something like that in college. In high school. Sorry, last 2 years in high school. I think he was 23-0 through a perfect game in the playoffs. Obviously, we all know he pitched with Max Fried and Lucas Giolito. His pitching coach is now the pitching coach for the White Sox. Like this is a guy who has been groomed and had the skills at an early age. We know he's a massive basketball fan. We know that all of that. The dude's only 27 years old, okay? Like 27 years old. And we act like, maybe he's, maybe we need to move on from Jack Flaherty. Like, let me explain this one more time to everybody. I know our fans know it because they're diehard Cardinal fans. We have counted one guy under contract for next year as of right now. To add, Jack Flaherty is a top of the rotation pitcher in Major League Baseball when he is healthy. You have to say that for almost every pitcher in baseball. You have to add the when he is healthy in there because that is what starting pitchers get hurt. Pitchers get hurt in baseball. All right. But Jack Flaherty is a top of the rotation guy. And if we see the 19 and even the early 20 Jack Flaherty this year, what that does for everyone else in that rotation is massive. I will go on record right now, and I will say I believe the X factor for the entire 2023 Cardinal season is Jack Flaherty. I think he is that important to this team.
Yeah, it's not even close. No one's even close. Because if you talk about, we talk about Tyler O'Neill a lot. We talk about Nolan Gorman a lot. We talk about all these guys that are young position players that we know that if they hit their upside, they're going to be very impactful players. But if they don't hit their upside, maybe they struggle. There's someone that right behind them to replace him if we need it. There's not somebody behind Jack Flaherty to replace him. Yes, there's somebody that's going to go out there and take the ball and throw. Sure. Is there somebody that's going to go out there and be able to win you a game? No. Jack Flaherty, to me, like you said, he's 27 years old. He's entering what would be his peak. If we're talking about 10 years ago, right? 28, 27, that was
absolutely
your peak years. It's kind of changed because people are coming up when they're 20.
I don't think it has a lot with pitchers though, dude.
But I think the impatience, and I'm gonna say, like, you have had some frustrations with Jack Flaherty as well. We said he might be done. You've said it. I've heard it.
Absolutely.
It's been frustration, but and I get it.
Can I clarify that? I've been frustrated by his performance, not by Jack Flaherty, the human.
That's not what I was saying by it.
No, I know. I just want everybody to understand.
You were frustrated by his injuries.
Correct.
So we understand. I don't want to be up here and say,
then we don't
everything
get
is
it.
positive,
Right.
and it's guaranteed that Jack Flaherty is gonna be an ace. It's not. It's not a guarantee. He's got to go out and do it. That's why if he were a free agent today, he wouldn't be getting ace money. No one would be paying him that because he's got to earn it again. But I'm also not going to sit here and act like he's not an incredibly special talent that we've homegrown, and they've stuck by him for a long time, which I hope means something to him because they really have stuck by him for a long time. And I don't know. He looked great today. Did you watch his start today?
I watched the second and the third inning. I missed the first inning, but what, 3 innings, 5 Ks? Is that right? 3 innings, 5 Ks?
3 innings, 5 strikeouts.
Gave up a run in the first inning. I did not see what happened.
Second inning.
Second inning. Okay, so I lied then. I just saw the third inning.
Okay.
That's when I came in.
He walked one guy, whatever.
Okay.
And then he gave one hit, which was a home run. His sliders backed up on him over the plate and he hit it out.
To clarify, came in bottom of the second inning, saw the Cardinals score the 6 runs. That's where it started. So when I saw Jack throw 1 inning, there we go.
Yeah, he looked great. I mean, he was aggressive in the zone. His first inning was a little rocky. It was I think he was kind of trying to feel for what his stuff. But after that, like Jack does this thing that I think is so unique, and it's one of the reasons he's always been one of my favorite pitchers to watch in baseball. He has this really, really great ability that not many people have to change the speed of his fastball whenever he wants. Mm-hmm. Like he can sit at 91 and be very effective with it if he wants. And the next thing you know, there's 96 right by somebody. His last bat today against Jose Altuve, to me, was the most impressive. I believe he started out 3-0. Yeah, he started 3-0 to him, came back with a fastball and then a slider, and then blew 95 right by him, struck him out at the end of his day. I mean, that's a perfect striking out Jose Altuve is always a good way to end your day. But I was very encouraged by it, as encouraged as you can be from a spring training start where he goes 3 innings, if that makes sense. But I thought it looked really good. And he came out of it healthy, which is the most important thing.
Agreed. Yeah, that's with every pitcher. Like you kind of feel like, hey, as long as they come out healthy, it's a good day. But especially with Jack, I said it a couple minutes ago. I just feel like he is the number. If you were to ask me, give me the top 5 X factors for the Cardinals, it's number 1, Jack Flaherty, and the drop off to number 2 is very, very steep. So, like I said, I just think I think we're in for a peak Jack Flaherty year. I really do. People are going to come on here and say, "Well, you said that about everybody." Oh, I have sort of, but that's just sort of how I feel right now. When you look at all the work that's been put in on the offseason, you look at the results, you look at the way that the coaching staff is talking, you look at the way the people down in Jupiter right now are talking about what they're seeing on the day. It feels different. Am I wrong on that, or does it feel different from a normal spring training year for some reason?
I don't know. Like, I want to say this in the nicest way possible. I don't put stock in anything beat reporters say about someone's performance, because I care what Oli Marmol says. That I do care about. Because he doesn't lie. Like, that's one thing I love about Oli, is I can actually take him for his word because he's not going to bullshit me. It's been pretty positive. It's the first. I mean, that's kind of how it is, though. There's always the running joke that everybody's in the best shape of their life in spring training. Like, everybody is every year. We'll see how that translates. With Jack specifically, though, it's been a very different. I mean, let's be honest. It's been his first normal offseason since 2019. Right? Since before 2019. He hasn't had one. Like, he's either been dealing with injuries, he's been dealing with a lockout, dealing with COVID. Like, this is his first chance to get back to that. I think where it gets sticky for Cardinal fans, and where, like, everyone wants him back. Like, if you like him, you want him back, I should say. Where it gets complicated is you almost think they're not going to bring him back if he's not good, obviously, because why would they go through that again?
Correct.
But if he is really good and they want to bring him back, is that when he prices himself out of St. Louis? Like, it's a complicated issue with him. That's why I'd love to see an extension. I know people aren't going to agree with that. Where do you stand on that? Do you think if he goes out there and has a great season, they'd be willing to pay him, or he just price himself out of St. Louis?
I think knowing the Cardinals and the way they operate with a lot of their guys, I think if Flaherty is healthy the first half of the season and is Jack Flaherty like we have seen Jack Flaherty be, I think you will hear the extension talks ramp up, because it does feel like to me that Jack does want to be in St. Louis. Like, that he is not again, throw all the BS out. From what the guy says and from what he has talked about, it feels like he does want to do something here and does want to get an extension done. There's been some arbitration crap that went on there for a while, but I just feel like halfway through the year, we're going to kind of know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I also want to, I want to get into that arbitration in a second. So remind me about that. because I think that was either misrepresented by the media or it was just misunderstood by some fans. I don't know which one it is.
No,
But
me neither.
To answer my own question, I guess. I have there was a report that came out. John Denton was interviewing Jack Flaherty and asked him. He said, "Hey, what would it mean for you to be up for one team your whole career, like Adam Wainwright?" That was a question. That something like that. I think that's how it was phrased. He said, "I think that's awesome. That can be a really great thing. You get comfortable. You build a home there. My two favorite athletes are Derek Jeter and Kobe Bryant. They did that. That is something that I think is awesome." He didn't come out and say that's something I'm not going to say he said I'm going to do that. He didn't say that, but he definitely
No
seems to be
athlete
open
should
to.
say that.
No, they're going to lose all the leverage. But
Right.
he definitely seems like it's something he is at the very least not opposed to, open to. And I also was reading a Derek Gould chat, which he's kind of the guy I go to for everything because he not opinionated at all. He's just straight up facts. He doesn't put in any opinion in anything. He said that there's a belief around the people he's talked to, probably in the organization, some outside of it, that think that if Jack Flaherty goes out there and has a strong, let's say, first half, that both sides would be interested in at least discussing what an extension would look like. Now, does that mean it would get done? No, it doesn't. Doesn't mean it. The Cardinals could lowball him, or Jack Flaherty could say, well, hey, who knows? I could go out there and set the market. But I don't think we should close the book on him coming back. That's all I'm going to say.
Shout out to Derek Gould for reinforcing what I just said.
Yeah.
Thanks, DG.
Or I told you this and now you just.
No, you did. First of all, let's be really fair. If you told me that, it went in one way. It is gone. It is rolling around in the Rolodex that is in here, and I've long forgotten it. But that is where I stand. Like, just knowing the Cardinals, that sounds very Cardinal-like. So
yeah, and I don't know if he wants to necessarily. I'm not going to say he wants to be here. Because I don't know.
Right. That's
but what I do believe, and what I think is more important than that fact, is I don't think he doesn't want to be here. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know if it's his dream to be a Cardinal for life. I don't know that. I don't think it's his dream to just get the hell out. I don't think that's the case either.
Agreed.
So that's where I'm at with his future with the Cardinals. It's uncertain. I think if he comes back, that means that Jack Flaherty pitched well, and it means the Cardinals hopefully have their ace for the next 5 years with Tink Henson guys coming up.
Yep. Predictions. What do you think? We've talked about this with most of our guys. So let me throw this one to you. Normally you start asking me, but let's go to you. What are you looking for in a Jack Flaherty 2023 season?
I think it is realistic to expect some ups and downs to start the year. He's going to be figuring it out again. He's going to have to figure out how to get his workload again. I don't think the Cardinals are going to baby him this year, even though he hasn't thrown very much lately. Let's be honest. If he doesn't have an extension in place, this is the last year, man. You got to go out there and do it.
Agreed.
So if there's an extension in place, I'll change my tune to that a little bit. But the thing that I care most about, I want him to pitch every fifth day. I don't want him to. He needs to stay off the IL. So that's the most important thing. But the second thing, I want him to be ramping up, and he needs to be ramping up and be that guy that scares the other team by October. I'm not saying he needs to be an ace all year long. That might be an unrealistic expectation at this point in time until he shows it again. But he got to be that guy come October.
Agreed. I mean, I think we're in the same boat on that. Anything else you need to talk about with Jack?
There was something I wanted to say, but I completely forgot what it was.
Oh, the arbitration. Did you want to hit on that?
Oh, yes. I think I probably should answer when you asked me earlier.
Yeah, that would be good journalism.
When you asked me earlier why I think Jack Flaherty, that narrative that he wants to go away, I probably should have mentioned this as well. I think a lot of it has been the arbitration case. Jack Flaherty's our union rep. What do the union reps do? They want to set markets. They want to get players paid. That's why they're in the union, or else he wouldn't be doing it. I think his frustration with the arbitration process as a whole was misconstrued to being his frustration with the St. Louis Cardinals, and that's not what it was. I think he's even said that. He doesn't like the process. He wants to get changed. It's a broken system. So he won his case. He tweeted something, I don't remember what it was, about celebrating it because, I mean, cool, you won your case. That's great for him. And I think that was misconstrued as him going after DeWitt and Mozeliak, when in reality, it was just him celebrating the fact that he's making a lot more money than he thought he was going to. So that's what I want to say about it.
All right.
Also, I'm going to go get my drink, so you got to take over for 1 second.
Caleb, unprepared. Look at that wall, folks. Look at that wall. Look, we got the Beatles over the shoulder here, and then look at that wall. What did you get?
Baja Blast.
Oh, geez. Yeah, so you'll be up all night playing Hogwarts. Hey,
I'm not
first of all, let me take a
10.
minute. Let me take a minute for those of you watching on YouTube. Thank you very much, as always. We greatly appreciate you. The comments section has been rolling lately. We love that. I think we're going to hit a mailbag at the end of this episode, so we'll go through a few of those. While you're watching, keep hitting that, or if you haven't yet, not keep hitting. You don't have to keep hitting it. Just hit it once. The subscribe
No, if you keep
button.
hitting it, you will unsubscribe.
No, because that could knock it on and then off, and that's not good. Just hit that subscribe button that's right there on YouTube. But I also wanted to make a comment that not everybody watches on YouTube. We have a lot of people who listen throughout the day on Apple and Spotify. I think Amazon, I think Google, but mainly Apple and Spotify, it looks like. And I think we spend a lot of our time talking to our YouTube listeners as if everyone is doing that. But thank you for those of you listening on Apple and Spotify and everything else. Those numbers are very good. We are approaching almost 2,000 downloads on that since we become the Hard 9 Pod. So that's pretty awesome, just on the audio. So that's pretty cool. What just also shout out, because I feel like new listeners, sometimes we want to shout them out. Our neighbor, very good friends, live above us here in the 504. Nick has been listening to our podcast. Shout out, Nick. Now, I'm shouting him out for a couple of reasons. One, born and raised outside of Detroit, Michigan, grew up Tigers fan. Sorry about 2006, buddy. Sorry about that. However, he also told me he's lived down here since 2010, went to Tulane, lived down here. Also, he did go to University of Michigan. But we're still friends. It's okay. It's okay. But he said he's looking for a Major League Baseball team. So I think maybe with our podcast, we can get him in the Cardinals fandom.
He can be a member of the best fans in baseball.
I think so. I think he could be a B-fib by tomorrow morning, probably. And here's the thing. He just informed me he's going to Chicago with buddies on a trip later. They're going to see the Cardinals Cubs. So I said, we got to get you some jerseys. Yeah,
I mean, get him a Wilson one so Cubs fans can be pissed off at him when he comes to Wrigley with the Wilson Contreras jersey.
Absolutely. So we're gonna do all we can to have beer thrown on Nick in Wrigley Field bleachers with his buddies.
Yeah. Also, I think that wouldn't be a fun day for him. Maybe it would be. Maybe he'd like that. I don't know. I think my message last week about Wilson Contreras may have been received well, because I haven't seen anyone else talk about Wilson Contreras negatively.
Right.
So I think I saved his image.
Since you got up and went and got your drink and we're talking about jerseys, I got to show you a couple things. So
right, well, let's hurry this up. I was unprepared.
So this is the first one that came in, right? I got a bunch more coming in, by the way. Check this out. It's got the nice little patch there for the 30th anniversary. Had to get a Wainwright jersey, right? Final year. Love the white throw.
I want to talk about him as well, by the way.
And then went with the Pujols 2011 World Series and the opening stadium.
Classic, obviously.
Pretty sweet, right?
Yeah.
I got 4 more coming.
4, Jesus Christ. All right. Since you showed the Wainwright one, this wasn't really our plan, but I do feel like there was some. Okay, he started the day after we released our podcast. Is that right? Or was it the day of? But it was the day after we posted.
Well, don't even try to figure it out, because
don't go off the beaten path here, because I have something I want to say. I am becoming increasingly nervous about Adam Wainwright.
Yeah.
If he is throwing 86, topping out 86 in the World Baseball Classic, 1, he shouldn't be starting opening day, and 2, you might want to put him on the IL for a while and figure it out. I'm not there yet. I'm not in full panic mode, but I'm getting increasingly concerned that he may have pushed it a year too long.
Yeah, and I get it.
I know.
I'm not there, dude.
You can't ignore the warning signs. They're there.
I know. You're right. You are right. My thing is, and will always be, let's wait till we get closer to opening day to really, if we should, I'm not going to push the panic button on the first 2 starts with a veteran. I'm just not.
It's also not just that, because I did some research, because I wanted to see how he was last year, peripheral wise, not just performance. We know he's pretty decent performance wise. His zone contact percentage against was the worst in his career. He wasn't getting people to swing and miss. Almost every single peripheral. Let's take out that really bad stretch of a few years in the late 2010s. Since he's come back, they all fell down. And then you had that really bad 6-week stretch. The thing that's concerning to me is there seems to be a reason. I won't call it an excuse, because I think that's unfair, but there seems to be a reason every single time he does something that he fails or falters a little bit. And at some point, I wonder if it's just maybe not wanting to accept reality.
It could be. And again, we will find that out. I do know that, like, once again, Twitter very much overreacting. Maybe they're not overreacting, but
He's
like
going to WBC, Dad. You can't work with him anymore.
I know. I understand. But he's also going to be with pitching coaches there and everything else.
Andy Pettit. Maybe Andy Pettit can help him.
Right.
Give him
maybe
the steroids, Andy.
Find something. Maybe
Andy, give him the PEDs.
Hey, it's his last year. They're not going to test him. What are we doing? But yeah, I'm with you. But I do still want to let that, like, the one thing I think the overreaction, we're going to get to Jordan Walker in a minute. But I do think that a lot of people forget what vets really use spring training for. So, but I'm with you. With you on the velocity.
But it's not just that though. Like the thing that he's using the spring training to get ready to actually go compete in 9 days.
I agree.
This isn't a normal spring training where he's 25 days away from opening day. He's 10 days away from pitching in a meaningful game for his country. And he knows that. He's trying to ramp up, and this is where he's at. That's alarming to me. I don't want to say that anything I've said is a fact. There are things that I just want to say it's on our radar, and we'll know a lot more when he pitches his first outing for Team USA. But it is something that, since our last podcast, is alarming to me, and I just want people to be aware of it. And in 10 days, he could be throwing 89 again and sitting around 88. And then I'll be like, okay, great. He looks like normal Waino.
Right.
But he's got to do it. So we'll see. His velocity did jump up from start to start, which is a good sign. He said the training staff was very encouraged, which is great. If I had to bet, I would bet Waino's going to be a good pitcher this year, because I will never bet against the man. But I will say we've got to see improvement in 10 days, or I will be very concerned.
Yeah, fair. And as I, in one breath, this side of the mouth say, don't overreact to spring training, this side of the mouth can't stop salivating over watching Jordan Walker fucking hit. And if we're going to be honest, let's not just talk about him. Let's not forget we've gone on, and we don't have to get into it. Nolan Gorman looks like a different fucking human out there. Now, everybody's going to he's facing so-and-so. No, that's not always true. Like, these are guys trying to make a team. They're trying to make a camp. They're trying to do, like, it's not like he's out there facing the 42-year-old vet who's working on a new knuckleball that he's throwing.
Well, Johnny Cueto.
Okay, well, that is true. But still, fair. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
you just walked right into that. I want to say it before
really
the comment section.
I really did. So middle of the mouth, just stepped right on it. But, I mean, how do you not, if you're a Cardinal fan, like, here's the thing. Let me say it like this. Let me preface it like this, and I'll let you take it.
Your intro to this topic is a little.
It's bad. Well, it's because like you got me all frazzled. If Jordan Walker goes out and he's like 2 for 10 right now, right? Everybody's like, it's spring training. Nobody's stressing out. But the fact that he's got a 1.04 OPS, like, it has to make you think, okay.
Way more than that. His OPS is way higher than that.
I thought I read 1.04 today.
You mean 1.4?
1.4. Sorry. There you go. 1.04 slug, 1.4 OPS. Sorry. Either way.
The 1,400.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's high as fuck.
That's crazy.
But so I think it is one of those things where you react to what you want to react to and what you get excited about.
Not really. Can I tell you why I disagree with what you just said? That part of it.
Why do I not?
And why? Well, no, this is good. This is me saying this is why you should be excited for Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker, first off, his latest home run, well, the one he hit that was like 480 feet, but for some reason Nationals don't have StatCast. Like, I don't know what's going on over there, but it was apparently 470, 480-ish. I mean, give or take some, there's some error involved, human error. That was off of, I'm not sure who that was off of, but the second, Josiah Gray, who is not trying to fight for his spot. He's going to be pitching. He's trying to prove something. Yeah, for sure. But the second one was off of a prospect, Cade Cavalli, one of the top prospects in all of baseball, who is trying to make a roster. So that wasn't fluky. That was off of a really good
you had
pitcher.
To come at me with Johnny Cueto, though. But you couldn't just let me have the other one.
Well, he hit 3 home runs, and one of them was off of a 40-year-old trying to prove something. Here's my point. I think it is important for me, for a major leaguer like Nolan Arenado. He's killing it. He has had great stats. I don't care. Here's why I don't care. Nolan Arenado should be doing that against this level of competition. Jordan Walker currently is facing comparable competition to what he'd probably be seeing in AAA right now. And he is just destroying them. Like, he's making them look like little children, throwing them a soft toss. But more importantly than that, He is facing the same competition everybody else on the team and in the league is facing. And he is doing better than all of them. Not in the league. Everyone in the league, he's better than all of them right now. And they're all facing this competition. So to say you shouldn't be excited, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you should be, because he's better than everybody else right now. Like, he's not only come out and proven that he deserves a spot, he's come out and proven that, hey, like, I might be a top of the order hitter for you immediately. Like, that's what he's doing right now. If he does it for another week, Dad, because let's be honest, it's been a week. So there is a little bit pump the brakes, see if it continues. But if he does it for another week, I think his spot's solidified.
Here are your top OPS leaders currently for spring training. Nolan, 1.714. How about Paulie D? 6 at bats. Let's relax. Jordan Walker, Barrera. Hey, that's
Cardinals.
your guy. Barrera.
Oh, you're talking about Cardinal. Okay.
Yeah. Goldie,
Jordan
Mason,
Walker
Wynn, Pinder.
Mason Wynn.
How about Motter? He's like 31 years old. What happens with that guy?
Nothing. He goes to AAA and he's depth. And he'll be up at some
great
point.
Hair.
He has hair, but it's not. I don't know how great it is. Does Jordan Walker have more at bats than the rest of them?
Has to be close. Let's look here.
I think he's played more. He's played more.
Absolutely. In fact, I think he leads the team in at bat. Oh yeah, he does. By 50%, he leads the team. Next closest is Gorman at 50. Gorman at 15.
Okay.
Well,
How many did Nolan have? Who was the leading? Nolan and DeYoung who were
14. So by 50% would be 21. Like,
no, I'm asking 50. How many Nolan and DeYoung had, because those were the two ahead of him. That's what I'm asking you.
Well, I told you DeYoung only had 6. Nolan had 14.
Yeah, and Walker went 0 for 3 yesterday, so that obviously bumped him down. And I tweeted out, I said he only hit one ball over 105 today. He's not ready for the show. Like, he did go 0 for 3, but he also hit a ball over 105 miles per hour. I don't know what he's doing. I think we've almost slow played it too much. Some people to try and stop the hype, because it's almost impossible for him to reach his hype. But man, he might just go here and guns a blazing and just storm his way into the league and kill it. Like, he might do that. I'm getting that.
What do you think about Luke and Baker and Alec Burleson, both actually having very solid starts for their spring? What do you think about either of those two guys?
I think a lot about Alec Burleson. I don't think barely anything about Luke and Baker.
Even though Baker was a highly touted prospect for a while, it
Not
seems
highly
like
touted. He was a prospect.
Well, I mean, like, highly thought of. Like, I feel
he's
like they
barely
thought
even
he was going to be something.
He's not even worth talking about. Like, I'm sorry. No offense to Luke. He
God,
might catch on somewhere. I'm sorry, Dad. Is he gonna come up on? Is he gonna get a bats over Juan Yepez or Paul Goldschmidt?
No. I just wanted, like, do you think that's a guy that maybe another major league team looks at?
Maybe. I don't know. He has power. That's all I know about him. Alec Burleson, I think it's weird to lump those two in the same question. He's actually a really good prospect. I think he's a really good player. We'll see what he does.
I mean, Lucan's only 25, dude.
I don't want to talk about Luke and Baker, Dad.
I understand.
I've watched this man play in spring training games for 6 straight years, and he's not done anything to impress me.
I don't know if it's been 6 years.
He has one home run a spring.
There were a couple of years where there wasn't much spring training there, so you didn't.
It's 1 or 2 home runs a spring, Dad, and then he goes and no one hears about him for 6 months.
I know.
But
I'm rooting for him, though.
You kind of went from Jordan Walker to Luke and Baker. I think we need to stay on Jordan Walker for a second, because he is the talk of the town, other than St. Louis SC. Shout out.
Okay, can I ask? Can I tell you right now what? Okay, can I tell you what pisses me off right now?
Sure.
Okay, 1, super psyched. Let's just all enjoy what we're seeing from Jordan Walker. But then in the next breath to say we're going to turn around and trade Tyler O'Neill or Dylan Carlson because of what Jordan Walker has done in 21 at bats. Like, it is literally maybe the most asinine take of all time. Let me lay it out for you, and then I want to get your take. 1, it's okay to have 4 fucking good outfielders. There's plenty of at bats to have. That's 4 great outfielders if Walker is one of them. All right. 2, we just saw a trade market. You're not trading for anybody who dramatically helps the team more than Dylan Carlson or Tyler O'Neill in March, when every team going out there, even Bob Nutting and the Pittsburgh Pirates have a shot. They're not going to, but as of right now, by April,
have anybody you want.
But you know what I'm saying, right? They're not dealing their aces. Okay, we just saw Jose Quintana get hurt today. Like, nobody's going to be dealing a top of the rotation guy in spring training. So if you were out there thinking that because of Jordan Walker means now we're going to trade Tyler O'Neill or Dylan Carlson to make a spot for Alec Burleson or maybe Luke and Baker, do it. But like, what are these people like? What are they thinking? Can you help me wrap my head around it? Because every time I read it, it's like nails on a chalkboard. Like, what are you thinking?
I can help you understand it.
Thank you.
They're not used to Ali Marmal yet. They'll get there eventually. They're not used to him yet. He isn't Mike Matheny's dumbass, where he had 3 guys, they played every day, unless they were young and they struggled for a day, then they were off for a week. But he's not that. He can have 4 outfielders and play them all the time. Let's be honest. How many times last year did we feel like all 3 of our outfielders were healthy and playing well?
It was a small percentage of games.
So what is the likelihood that for 162 games, let's just say O'Neill, Nootbaar, and Walker are all playing well and healthy for 162?
Right. No, I agree with you.
I'll give you a likelihood, 0%.
Right.
So no, it's a good thing to have 4 outfielders. So guess what? We might be in May and there might be an injury. Knock on wood, hope it doesn't happen. But there might be. And you might be real glad that you have a guy of the caliber of Dylan Carlson or Tyler O'Neill sitting there ready to play every day. Like, you're going to be happy about that. And more importantly, I don't think anyone would know who to trade because no one knows who's going to step up. And we're going to talk about Lars Nootbaar in a second. But the other 2, Carlson, let's talk about him for a second. He had a great swing today. Smoked it, turned on a fastball, hit it 108 from the left side, which is important.
By the way, after he smoked one down the first baseline, just foul.
Yeah.
Like, also turned on that one.
It would have been his 4th hardest hit ball of 2022. Yep. 108. That's impressive. That's really good to see. That's what they wanted to work on, was exit velocity from the left side of the plate. And he worked on it. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Remember when he came up and he had that, like, I'm not gonna say chunky, but his face looked full. He looked like a big kid, right? Like he was
a grown human.
No, he looked like, I don't know how to explain it, but his face was bigger, I guess is what I'm gonna say. And then he got really And then he got really skinny the last 2 years. I don't know why, but he did. He looks like he's back to that kid we saw when he debuted in 2020.
Yeah, he looked good today.
He looked really good. He looks bigger. He looks like a Major League Baseball player, not a high school baseball player this year.
Yeah.
Let them figure it out.
It just really, honestly, and I just keep scrolling, but it does like eat me alive, like to think what goes through your mind.
Well, it's understandable because people do think, and it's not abnormal to be like, okay, what's our starting 9 and how would I order it? We do the same thing. I sent you my prop lineups. You've sent me yours. We've done it before. So it's not abnormal to think that. And you're like, oh, well, this really talented guy can get me something in return. And he's not in my starting 9. So what can we get for him? I get the thought process. I just personally think it's flawed. It's flawed thought. Because you know what people do at the trade deadline, Dad? A lot of times they trade for bench bats and they trade for 4th outfielders that can help.
Right.
Them. So if you have those guys in-house, keep them. Enjoy the fact that you have them.
Screaming to sign Michael Conforto. Guys, we have Dylan Carlson, Tyler O'Neill, Jordan Walker, and Lars Nootbaar. And you were screaming to sign Michael Conforto. Like,
also, can I take you back to 2021?
I don't know what to do anymore.
Can I take you back to 2021 when O'Neill was hurt and Bader was hurt, and our outfield was Austin Dean,
Justin Williams,
and Dylan Carlson?
Yeah.
Do you want that to happen again?
And can we also talk about this? Then we'll move on because I don't want to spend a lot of time on the negativity or the people who just don't know. But
I do get it. Like I
get it if it's the trade deadline, Caleb. I don't like what are you going to get? But what I'm saying is, on March the 30th.
I understand the thought process and where they're coming from. I just completely wholeheartedly disagree with all of it. But I do understand why they do it because you do the same thing. You look at this, like, who are the 9 that deserve to be playing. But let's be honest, there's going to be injuries. Like, it sucks. It's a part of baseball.
We also have a DH spot, everybody. Hate to tell you, newsflash, got a DH.
Nolan Gorman's, but no one.
I'm just letting you know there's enough room. The 13 guys.
Nolan Gorman's spot, nobody's taking it. He's hitting 35
There's plenty of room for a bat. They play 162 guys. There's plenty of rooms. We don't have Cal Ripken. All right.
It's a great thing to have versatility.
Can we also say that we've talked about this on here before? DC and Tyler O'Neill, probably their lowest value since they've become a St. Louis Cardinal right now. Every other organization knows that. Even if they need an outfield, they still aren't going to give you an ace for them right now, no matter what they do.
What they also know, Dad? They also know what you want, which is a top of the rotation pitcher. And they also know what you have an abundance of, which is an outfielder. So you know what they're not going to do? Overpay for one of them.
We just saw Pablo Lopez go to the Twins for the AL batting champ, everybody. What in the fuck do you think you're getting for Tyler O'Neill and Dylan Carlson right now?
Well, no one's trading for Tyler O'Neill unless it's a team that's in contention, and you're not trading Tyler O'Neill to a team that might beat you with Tyler O'Neill.
Unbelievable.
It's not going to happen. Also, like, here's my thing: just let it play out. I get that we're excited for Jordan Walker.
Yes.
You should be. He's fantastic. But guess what? They put Jordan Walker in left field and haven't moved him. No one else has played left field. It's going to be reasonably starting. Lars did opening the first day, but that means nothing to me.
Well, with Lars' arm, he's going to be in right field.
Also, how cool is it, Dad? Not cool. How great and how what's the word? It's like a privilege that we have 3 outfielders and Carlson, O'Neill, and Nupar, who we're all can be reasonably excited for offensively, but all can also play center field. That is rare. Not many teams have that. A lot of teams will kill to have what we have in the outfield right now. And then after them, we still have like 5 other guys that could be major league ready, like Burleson and like not Luke and Baker, but like Moises Gomez.
Luke and I am in your corner, brother. If you are listening or anyone out here knows, I am on the Luke and Baker band. But hey, also let's not forget we talked about him on a couple pods ago. Juan Yepez has had a very good start.
Yes.
We are talking the first week and a half of spring training. We understand that, but as a baseball player, right, both of us, it was always nice to get off to a good start, no matter when it was. Right, you never want to be playing from behind and
also,
you're looking at your average.
You're
saying, man, if I just go 3 for 4 tonight, that average was. It's great to have a little cushion. But Juan Yepez, Nolan Gorman, Burleson, Jordan Walker, Mason Wynn. Haven't even talked about him.
Mason Wynn's been fantastic.
They have all looked great. And guys, I hate to say this to our fan base or to our Cardinal fans because I do think Wynn is probably. I love what I'm seeing right now, but they're not going to trade Paul DeJong to the Dodgers for something, and Mason Wynn's going to be up on this on opening day.
Bench.
He's just not going to be, right? That's just not going to happen. He's going to start the year at AAA. He needs to play a little bit more. He's still a little bit below the development of Jordan Walker. And I think I tweeted out the other day, let's enjoy the development of Mason Wynn instead of all of a sudden crowning him the opening day shortstop in 2023. He's not going to be.
No,
and I think he knows that. So bully for him to come out, it's got to be hard to know I'm not going to make the team, but I'm still putting up incredible. It's not hard, Dad.
Put yourself in his shoes.
You're right. Okay.
You know, but he's saying,
but you know what I'm saying.
Let me go out and do what I know I can do in front of the major league team. But his development from where he was at the time the Arizona Fall League to now, Ollie Marmol said, I did not expect him to be this advanced right now. Like we didn't expect it. We said this going into the offseason. At least I did. I don't remember when I said it. But I said, this is Mason Wynn's second offseason of only being a hitter. He's not worried about pitching anymore. That can be really beneficial to him. He's just focusing on hitting and fielding. And he's been a couple of really, really great plays and throws because he's a freak out there in the field. And he's also hitting very well. So his development, man, he could be on fast track to the major leagues. He could be up at some point this year. But there's going to be there's a lot of time to figure out what happens in between then. Like if Tommy Edman,
also,
Brandon Donovan are good, he's not coming up. He's no reason for it.
Would be remiss. We really talked about a couple pods ago. By the way, wanted to tell everybody, I meant to say this earlier. All our player profiles are up on Apple and Spotify and YouTube. So as you're getting ready for the season, if you'd like to go back and check them out, they're not like a playlist on YouTube. Look at this guy.
I've said this for weeks on here.
You already did it?
There's been a playlist up for them for weeks on YouTube.
Shout out to you.
Since
so if you want to find
Wilson Contreras one.
Shout out to you. If you want to find them, they're all up. And I think, obviously the reception has been very, very good. Thank you, by the way. Mm-hmm. But one thing we a couple of pods ago, we talked about Yepez, Burley, and Gomez. Right now, Yepez has been the worst of the 3, and he's still been pretty good. But Gomez also off to almost an 800 OPS already. Those guys are battling. I love it, dude.
Yeah, Burleson saying some great at bats. Yepez, I think for him, he just hasn't hit for power yet, but he has such a good approach. Yepez is one of the better approaches on our team, I think, when he's right. And he's just taking out singles the other way. Like they're shifting on him slightly, like as much as they can, I think. And he's taking singles the other way. He did it today with the bases loaded, drove in 2 runs, I believe. He looks really good, I think. But yeah, they are battling. I think the competition is real. I do think an interesting note that I haven't told you yet, because I just found it out not too long ago. Ollie Marmol today did say there is still competition going on, no doubt about it. But he feels like there's a good chance that he knows right now what the roster is going to be on opening day, which to me screams that Jordan Walker is going to be on the roster opening day.
Yeah, it does. Let me just really quickly, and then we'll get to Lars, because I know you want to talk about him. Just the averages so far. And again, small sample sizes for a lot of these guys, 10, 15, 14, 20 at bats per Walker. Nolan's at 571, 471, PDJ at 333, Walker at 430, Goldie at 417, Mason Wynn at 460, Pinder at 500. That's nice to see. Herrera at 400, Luke and Baker, our guy, at 250, Brendan Donovan at 240, Burley at 310, Gorman at 270, Crooks at 400. Now that's a very small sample size, but Gomez at 360 and Yepez at 270. I mean, they're raking, dude.
Yeah, they are raking. They've been hot. I don't really care.
I know, I get it, but
you just gave me
context.
You just made it very hard for me to be excited because you give me batting average as a stat in a week of spring training games. I don't know if I'm gonna care less about anything than what you just said. You're like an old man. Here's the batting average in the first 6-9 games of spring training. These teams gonna rake without.
That is what it is. So you're right. If
Albert's gone, so they got the batting average back.
You're taking shots at Luke and Baker on here. I don't know what you want me to do.
I'm taking any shots. I'm just saying I have zero interest in talking about.
You did. I don't want to talk about Luke, and it's exactly what you said.
It's not okay. Fine. I'll talk about him. Luke and Baker will probably never debut for the St. Louis Cardinals.
I don't like your negativity.
It's true. I'm sorry. There's about 12 guys ahead of him. Can we talk
about what Lars whispered into Ohtani's ear today?
Probably something in Japanese.
You think it was?
No, don't. Do not. Anyway,
you look really good in red and white. You think that was it? And there's another team.
In red and white.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So there's another team that you might look really even better in.
I would almost guarantee that they had probably not had one conversation like that.
Agreed. But pepper grinder was cool though.
Obviously, Ohtani, by the way, hit about 430 feet from his knee.
2 jacks. Yeah,
he did hit 2 jacks. 1 drove in Newt. It was 2 for 3. I think he was batting first, if I'm not mistaken, in the lineup. Newt 2 for 3 with an RBI. Looks great, by the way. I don't know. I think watching a baseball game in the Tokyo Dome might be on my bucket list.
It looks pretty cool. I just don't know.
Looks amazing.
Tokyo. How do I'm ready for the VR. What is it? The metaverse. Can we get that so I can watch a game there?
But the atmosphere looked great. His swing looks so good. Newt's good. I mean, he's kind of being forgotten almost at this point because he's out of the picture and gone. But man, he looked great when he was here in spring. And those 2 hits, he smoked both of them. And I'll tell you what, Team Japan looks like they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. The team is good.
Yeah, they're very good. Couple other things to get to. We'll do the mailbag next time. You cool with that? Yeah, we'll get to it next time. Sorry, apologies, but we'll get to it next time. Hey, St. Louis, the city, 2-0, baby.
Pretty cool.
I might get the subscription on Apple TV.
You should.
Yeah, I think I am.
I watched it. I found a way to watch it, I guess is what I'll say. I did watch the second half.
Pirate.
No. I'm not going to get it. Anyway, I watched the second half.
We're going to get an FCC violation for this.
They looked great. No, we're not, because I'm not being specific. You don't keep fucking talking about it. Anyway, they're so much fun. A lot of people projected them to win 3 games. They've already won 2. They're 2-0. So
2-0.
It's pretty cool. It's great for the city. That atmosphere is electric. That team's going to be, will become one of the staples of St. Louis pretty quickly, I think, alongside the Blues and the Cardinals, which is cool.
23,000, I think 24,000 for the stadium. Had a bunch of buddies who were there. They said it was awesome. The pics that I saw that they either sent me or that I saw on the socials looked incredible. What an environment.
The stadium's
everybody was
awesome.
dressed in red and blue. The stadium looks beautiful. The pitch is perfect. So that's really
was great.
For soccer.
That's all I know.
Thank you, Ted Lasso. By the way, which is starting here soon. The new season.
I know, I'm excited.
So right in time. Last thing before we get out of here. Had a couple questions. Would like you to tell how the Will Leach interview went.
Who'd you have that question from?
Why would I reveal my source?
Yeah, I think you made that up.
I did not.
Is this your question?
No. God, what is that? Take the fucking Baja Blast. Where's Grace? Grace, can we get the Baja Blast?
Let me answer. It was great. He's really, really nice. Obviously went to the University of Illinois. He's a Cardinal fan. There wasn't really much, I don't think, that's interesting to share. It was kind of, we talked about the Cardinals. We heard about the Cardinals a lot. Kind of talked about, my career path and his career path and how they're relatively similar. And, we'll see. I'd like to try and develop a relationship with him if I can, because that'd be beneficial for me. But he's also a very, very nice guy, very humble guy who's had, I almost didn't realize how successful he was. until I talked with him about some of the stories. Like he had just interviewed Kevin Durant and Shaq and things like that. I was like, well, that's kind of crazy that you were just by Shaquille O'Neal and now you're here. But yeah, he's really nice. So I also shout out to the Seeing Red podcast with him and Bernie. Go listen to it. It's really good. Yeah, and he also has a book coming out, which is I'm excited to read as well.
To give him a little plug, if you haven't read The Art of Winning, it's a fantastic book. He is a very good writer. Let me preface this. To keep my interest in something that is more than about 280 characters at a time that I have to read, it better be fucking good. He's fucking good. Do you know what? That's what I'll say. Very really good writer. I think if you haven't read it, it's really good. You can tell his passion for baseball. And now I know he's switching over to the more fiction side, like as far as I go.
He's doing both, dude. He's like 8 jobs. It's crazy.
Great for him. Why can you start doing that, by the way?
He works from home. He works from home too. He doesn't go anywhere. He's living the life, I think. But yeah, he's a really nice guy. So if you will run to Will Leach, say hi. He's probably gonna be nice to you. And if he's not, I'm sorry.
I believe so. I'm glad it went well. I'm glad you got to experience that. That is somebody that is very good to have in your ring.
Yeah,
that's what I'll say.
Yes.
All right, on the docket. We'll do mailbag next time. Like I said, we kind of got to talking about some other stuff tonight that I thought was a little bit more pertinent with the Cardinals going on. As always, anything else you need to say before we get out of here?
Do you think that was about as eventful of like a 3 to 4 game stretch of spring training games as the Cardinals have had in years?
If it's
like for Jordan Walker to come in, and how many times have the Cardinals given young guys opportunities to make a team and they've just not done it and they've just not taken that step? For him to come, I mean, it's hard not to be excited. He might be the next guy in the league. No, I'm saying, you know what? He's got me excited. I think he's special. He's a special talent and a special player. He'll probably be playing tomorrow because it's not televised. So he'll probably
also have 2 home runs. Cardinals, can we go ahead and give the man number 8 or number 24?
That's what I said.
Give him one of those.
The 8 or what?
Is the one. 24. 8. Nobody's wearing 24 now. So
that number was retired.
Why did somebody retire 24? 24 retired? Did I miss something on the 24 number?
Am I wrong? I could be wrong. I
feel like you're wrong.
No, 24 is retired.
Who?
Shit. Let me see. But it is retired. That is true.
Well, then let's not give him that one.
Whitey Herzog. Nice job, Dad.
Oh, geez. I went with. That's funny because he wasn't listed on the player list today. And on our countdown, I went with Ricky Ankiel. I would have fucking gone with Whitey. Who knew? Who knew? All right, that makes way more sense.
You skipped Whitey?
Should have known that. No.
Whitey?
Okay. So then now it makes it really simple. Can we go and give him number 8? That's the number that he needs to get. And then I can order the jersey. I need to get that taken care of.
Yeah. And number 8 would be great. That's our favorite number, as you can tell by our Twitter, names, which are down below. Look at me.
I saw somebody say he's too big to wear number 8. And my thoughts were, have you seen Cal Ripken Jr. and Albert Bell? Like, have you seen those two humans?
He is 6'6", 250 pounds, apparently now. They undersized him in his draft.
Well, what's Ripken was like 265, right? 6'4", 6'5". And Joey Albert, also, don't call me Joey Bell, big guy.
Alec Manoah, rather big human, wears number 0. I think Jordan Walker will wear 8.
Love it. Number 8 is what we need. Let's put him in there.
That's 67. I'm tired of seeing him walking around looking like a low end prospect. Give him some real numbers.
Well, Ankiel wore 66 when he first came up, and you actually wore it for a while when he's pitching, and then he went to 24.
By the way,
I'm so sorry, Whitey. I'm so sorry.
Fun fact: Rick Ankiel. Don't call me that. By the way, fun fact: Rick Ankiel was the last Cardinal player to debut at the age of 20.
All right. That's a great way to end it.